Alright everybody, welcome to another fly tying tutorial by Rocky Mountain Anglers. Today we're going to be looking at a sweet little pattern for your winter fly boxes. This is Ray Johnston's Don King UV Midge. It's a super simple but super effective little midge pupa or merger pattern that I believe was designed originally for the tailwaters of the San Juan out in New Mexico, but works beautifully for our rivers and tailwaters here in Colorado as well. So let's take a look at our materials. Hook choice today is going to be a Tiemco 2488, and we're doing a size 20 here for the camera, but typical size range on this fly is going to be a 20 all the way down to a 26. So yeah, guys, don't be shy about going small on this one. Especially in the wintertime, sizing down can be a smart choice for those picky fish. Alternative hook choices, I know I've seen these tied commercially on the 2487 with the down eye, and I think that's fine if that's what you've got. There's also the 2488H, which is the heavy wire version of this hook. So, you know, if you're only going out and catching monster fish, that might be something you're interested in. But do keep in mind, I believe the 2487 only comes down to a size 24, and the 2488H only comes down to a size 22. So just some things to consider. For thread today, I've got an 8/0 uni in black. We're going to be doing a black and silver version here, but you can basically do whatever color you like. And if you're looking for a different thread, I've also tied these with 14/0 Vivas, and that works nicely as well. Ribbing material is going to be some of this extra small wire in silver, but again, any color. The wing is going to be a couple strands of this Midge flash in pearl. And dubbing for the thorax is going to be a bit of this natural hare's mask dubbing from Nature Spirit. I think this stuff is cool. It's got like a real fine synthetic in there, which gives it a little bit of added flash and texture, which I like, but you could just as easily use something like a gray superfine or maybe a beaver if that's what you've got. So yeah, guys, pretty short list of stuff here. I think there's a good chance you'll be able to tie this one up with stuff you've already got on your desk. So let's get right into it. I'll get a fresh hook going here in the vise. There we go. And I'm going to start my thread just right here behind the eye. Take my tag end out. And before I go any further, I'm going to come in right away with my rib. So cut myself a generous piece of this wire. I always like having enough to work with. And all I have to do to catch it in here is just lay it right in that little nook where my thread is hanging. And then it's just a half a turn, and see, it's already caught in place. Now I can just carefully pull that down to length. Try not to pull it all the way out. Now as I wrap back, I'm just going to take my time. I want my thread wraps to be nice and neat and even. It's going to be a slim underbody, so I want it to look good. And I'm also keeping tension on my wire with my material hand just to guide it along the hook as I go. Now I'm going to wrap just a little ways down to the bend, not too far. I think right about there looks good. And on the way back up, it's just the same thing, taking my time. Also beware of the hook point. It wants to grab your thread there. And I'll take it just right up, right back to where I started my wire. Now to wrap this, I like to go over the top first. And it's going to be just some nice, evenly spaced, you know, do your best, turns. I'll take that right to where my thread's hanging. Then I can just kick it over a couple times. And to take this wire out, since you don't want to cut it with your nice scissors, all you got to do is put some tension on your thread here, and then it'll just helicopter right out of there. Now for the wing, it's going to be just 2 strands of that Midge flash. And all you got to do to catch it in here is just bring it on the underside of your thread and lift it under and on top of the hook. And see there, it's already caught in place. Then you can just grab those forward-facing strands, pull them back, and start wrapping them all back together. I'll take them probably to right about there. I think that looks good. And that's going to be the proportions for our thorax. So I usually look for roughly a 60-40 right there, but a good reference point is I can usually wrap my thread back to the point on the hook, and that's usually about right for me. Now to dub the thorax. It's going to be just a little bit of this dubbing. Remember, this is still a very small fly, but one of the things about these bugs in real life is that they have sort of pronounced little thorax areas. And so we're going to be building kind of a little ball up front here with this dubbing. And so it's a little more than you might think, but it's definitely not a lot. So, just be cautious. Remember, it's always easier to add more dubbing if you need it than it is to try and take it back off if you have too much. So that looks about right. We probably got between a 1 and 2 inch noodle there, pretty thin. And I'll just start it right where my thread is hanging there and work forward, and then just back over on top of itself a little bit, just to create a little ball. Then I can end right there behind the eye with my bare thread, and I'm ready for a whip finish. Put a few good turns on there. Oh, where'd my scissors go? Take my thread out. Now to trim the wing, what I like to do is bring these strands of flash forward, pull them over the eye, and you want to pull them tight, but don't pull them too hard because they will stretch. And then I'll just put my thread there, right on the eye, and I can cut them all straight across like that. And that gives me a good wing length that's consistent every time. So there you have it, everybody. That's the fly. Let's see, I had a couple other colors I said I'd show you. Here's sort of a cream color miracle nymph type version. You could do like an olive with a dark rib. That's a good one. Here's a brown, dark brown, also with a dark rib. And then a red one as well, maybe something like a blood midge. So yeah, that's all I've got. You can see that went pretty quickly. It's a great fly if you just want to start filling up your midge box. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Come into the shop. We'll get you all set up with these materials, and we'd love to answer any of your questions. So yeah, happy holidays, and we hope to see you all soon.